Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, helping people in San Diego buy, sell, and refinance their biggest investment. Delivering you timely truths, exposing important issues, and helping you get into the right home. Here are your hosts, real estate expert Daniel Beer, top-ranked professional by sales volume at one of San Diego's largest brokerages, and his mortgage partner, Todd Pianin, with over $2 billion in funded loans.
Good morning, San Diego. It is a wonderful Sunday. We got lots happening. We've had a lot happen over the last couple days. I'm Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, part of the team of Todd and Taisha at Home Street Bank. You can find us at homestreetbank.com, Todd and Taisha, Facebook, etc. In studio today, because our master of ceremonies, Daniel Beer, is out getting on another seminar, learning more about the real estate world. We have his buyer specialist, listing specialist in the house, who's been with us many times before. I apologize for that. Joe McShane. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
I am doing well. Good morning, Todd, and good morning, San Diego.
Exactly. And another special treat we have for us in the house is we've got buying specialist Josh Kim in the house. Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Hey, pleasure to be here, Todd. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have like new blood in the studio, Joe. Normally it's you and me, or you and me and Dan, or you and me and Brian and Dan, or you know what I mean?
Or you and me and Silent Perry.
Silent Perry. Silent Perry is, but now we're gonna have talkative Josh, hopefully. So as you can see, when you work with the Daniel Beer group, they've got lots of specialists, and we get to have the special opportunity of having some of these specialists in studio. So I'm super excited to have you here this morning, Josh. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Todd. This is amazing. I've known you for a while, and just being in this radio show with you, it's an honor.
Thank you. It's an honor to be part of to do this with your team, with everyone on your team. You guys are rock stars as always. But let's talk about seven games. We won 7 games, Joe.
We went 7 games. I mean, this is really just the best time of the year, if you ask me.
For you, it is, yes.
For me, you've got baseball playoffs.
Right.
You've got the middle of the football season. Now we're beginning the playoff push. Teams are positioning themselves for home field advantage.
And America's team is looking unbelievable, Joe. Unbelievable.
Is looking good. Dak Prescott's fun to watch.
He's fun to watch.
He's a lot, and so is Elliott.
Yes.
And now Dez is back.
Yep.
Dez had an awesome game last Sunday night.
I don't know if you saw the press conference with Dez afterwards, just how he was just like so positive, and just like the feeling in the locker room, and just talking about the buzz. He wasn't Mr. Negative Dez, like give me the ball, Mr. Selfishness.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that you can always count on with Dez and his emotions is that they're consistent. So they'll probably stay that way forever.
This is true.
And then on top of all of it,
we go. Minnesota. What's happening what was big announcement this week for your Vikes?
The big announcement. Josh and I were at a local sandwich establishment getting a sandwich, and I load up ESPN on my phone, and out of nowhere on Wednesday at about 10:30, Norv Turner resigned as the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow, he resigned, or he was asked to leave.
According to a statement made by Mike Zimmer and several players on the Minnesota Vikings, they were completely surprised by it.
Wow.
So he resigned. But then again, Mike Zimmer's pretty tight-lipped on things, and Norv is gone.
Kind of shocked that your Vikes didn't come back in the second half.
Well, the Bears are such a strong 1-6 football team. What would you expect from a team that was in the power rankings as number 1 a few weeks ago? Here's what I'm telling all the Minnesota Vikings fans, right? Because I had a lot of my friends that were texting me and saying, "Hey, I think this is it. This is our year." And I said, "Center your expectations and remember where you came from."
Right.
We are the king of heartbreak. So just remember, you shoot that expectation low for your professional football team. It means the fall doesn't hurt as much when you hit the ground.
That's right, but this is my year, so I'm pumped. So
well, yeah, if you're a Dallas fan, well, you've got rings, you've got trophies. We don't know what that looks like, but we do have the Minnesota Lynx, who have won like 4 WNBA championships, so we've got that going for us.
So you're listening to News Radio 600 Kogo, and you're listening to Real Estate Exposed with Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank and Dan Beer from the Daniel Beer Group. Keller Williams, #1 real estate group in the county, I think, for transactions and volume year to date. let's just jump into what you're here for. Let's not, Joe and I can talk. Joe and I and Josh probably can talk sports all day, every day, but we're not going to do that anymore.
This isn't sports.
This is not sports. We got lots of things to talk to you about today. We got big changes coming up with Fannie Mae. We've got our seminar coming up on November 30th that Joe's going to talk a little bit about. But Joe, hop right in. What do you got for us today?
Well, I think, Todd, I want to jump in right away, and I just want to say, what's going on with our mortgage market right now? What is the update? I was here with you 2 weeks ago, and I just want to see where it's at right now.
Well, I mean, a lot of chatter about interest rates being hiked in December. I'm not a believer. There's a lot of uncertainty because we need everyone to get out and vote on Tuesday.
Go vote.
But a lot of uncertainty around the election, so the bond market's been a little wiggly, I would say. There's talk that we could see the 10-year breach the 2% range again, but then probably fall back down. We may see interest rates creep up through the holidays into January, which is a normal occurrence. If you look at a normal cycle, we see interest rates pop up towards the end of the year, and then January they keep popping up, and then going into the end of January, February, we see them come back down again. So I think that's happening. And the other big news is Fannie Mae in the middle of December is releasing a new DU, which is basically an underwriting program.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yes.
This is something about appraisals. What does all this mean?
So it's going back to almost loosening guidelines a little bit, but we're seeing that if I think people have proper down payments and good FICO scores and good credit worthiness, we're going to get what's called an appraisal waiver, which what that means is that they're going to run it through an AVM, an auto valuation model. And if the client is putting enough down, high down payment, that kind of stuff, we may see less appraisals being ordered on properties because that's, right now we have a scarcity in the market on appraisers, actually. I don't know if you're seeing that on taking time to get appraisers out to your property. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going towards, like I said, an AVM model, again, if you meet certain criteria, and that will be on their December 10th release of their new software program, which I think will take a little stress off Josh and you because you guys always sell homes at, you get great prices for the homes, and so we get good down payments, good credit-worthy borrowers. We may not be stressing out about the appraisals as much as we have in the past.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So, Doctor in English here, what does this mean? If I'm just John Doe, I don't know a ton about the sales market, I want to get the top dollar for my home. What does this specifically mean for me on this December 10th rollout? How is this going to impact my pocketbook?
So to be frank with you, until we see a couple of them, I don't want to give you specifics, but I would assume bigger down payments, meaning 20-25% down, let's just say, good FICO scores and good reserves, you may actually see appraisal waivers come through on the DU automated approvals. So a DU is a desktop underwriter that Fannie uses, and there's something called LP that Freddie Mac uses, Loan Prospector, and we put the data into the magic box. The magic box comes back and tells us, what we can, what items we need. I mean, we've already seen Fannie Mae move away from, and Freddie Mac move away from 2 years worth of tax returns or 2 years worth of W-2s. We're getting, 1 year tax returns, 1 year W-2s, which is coming out, which is just less documentation, and we're seeing that with as little as 10% down, which is awesome,
Right.
So we're seeing that the market's moving, and you and I have talked over the last year, Joe, even when Dan's been in the studio the last 2 years, that we're going to, we went one all the way to the left and got really, really conservative and asked for everything, like a letter from their dog, a picture of their pooch, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And I think we're seeing more movement to the center. Where the jumbo market, as we've been talking about, is still relatively frozen, meaning that we're not seeing the same velocity and change that we'd like to see, but I think this is the first step to getting towards those changes.
And one of the things that I look at when I hear the word appraisal is, you and I have had a ton of conversations about appraisals and cross qualifications.
Right.
But what this means for you is how can this benefit you? Well, getting a strategy in place that can get you more than the market has shown, and the way that you can learn a process to do that, whether you utilize us or not, this is educational. Come to the home selling seminar. November 30th. Call right now for your tickets so you can learn a little bit more about appraisal from Todd himself.
We're learning about we're letting our listeners know early about the home selling because it always sells out. We're doing only 1 day.
1 day, November 30th. You're going to want to call right away, 800-676-2420. 800-676-2420. Todd's going to be there to talk about anything related to the mortgage market. Dan's going to be there with me.
You're going to be there. Josh
I'll be there as well. Yeah.
Josh Perry and Brian will probably be there, the buyer specialists on your team, right?
Right. But if we're having a December 10th and there's going to be this rollout of appraisals being waived, boy, wouldn't that be a good problem to have if you're thinking about selling your home? Now, the question is, how are you going to capture an audience that can give you more than the market will bear for your home so that an appraisal could be waived?
This is true. We may know more. I'll do some research before that November 30th event. Make sure you get your tickets, 800-676-2420. For the home selling seminar, there's going to be two, one for lunch and one after work. We provide lunch at the lunch ones. The date will be announced, but get your name in there, 800-676-2420. We love having you there. We love seeing you guys face to face. We love answering your questions. And obviously, for those of you who the market's changed a little bit, so we're going to change it'll be changed up. The presentation will be changed a little bit more, and you'll have good FaceTime with Joe, Josh, Brian, myself, Dan, everybody on the Daniel Beer Group, as well as everybody, my team as well will be there. So I'm super excited for that. Coming up after the break, I want to talk about what's going on in the market. I want to hear from our man Joe, because everyone talks about not selling their home going into the holiday season. I think that's a fallacy, and I think Joe's going to talk about that. You're listening to News Radio 600 Kogo, Real Estate Exposed with Todd Pianin and Dan Beer, and we'll be right back.
I like that.
It is Sunday morning, and we're so happy to be here. This is Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank. And we got Joe McShane in the studio from the Daniel Beer Group, as well as Josh Kim in the studio from the Daniel Beer Group. And we're sitting with you before football starts Sunday morning. It's a wonderful. We love Mikey. He loves to just play with us with the intros.
I like that intro.
Yeah, that was a great intro. Thanks, Mike. So I want to just jump right into this. Again, you're listening to Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 Kogo, and we're all about real estate all the time. And one of the fallacies that always gets brought up this time of the year is, should I wait to sell my home? Should I wait to buy a home? Because it's now, we're going into the holiday season. We're going into, Thanksgiving. We're going into Christmas. We're going into Hanukkah. We're going into, all these different holidays. There's multiple. I don't want to leave out any holiday. So I don't want to, everybody's holidays are important this time of year. So what are you hearing? And I know you've been real busy, Joe, because you've been getting us lots of cross quals. I know you've been taking lots of listings. And what are people telling you?
Well, I mean, my take on it, right? And we talk about this fallacy in real estate, but there is a good point. I think that we're supposed to get about 20 to 24 inches of snow and be 30 below for the next 3 weeks. Oh wait, no.
You're thinking you're back in Minnesota. You're back in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, where the seasonal market makes sense.
Right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if you guys checked the forecast, but it looks like it's going to be about 70 and sunny every day until next August. Right.
Is that why you moved here, Joe?
It was one of the many reasons why I moved here. There was also, the opportunity to be on a radio show with Todd Pianin, and I couldn't turn that down. Yeah. Now, but what is the fallacy? Well, San Diego has a year-round market, right? I was talking to a gentleman this morning on the phone. His house failed to sell. He reached out to me and he said, "Hey, my house didn't end up selling. This is what happened. This is what it looked like. I wanted to reach out to you guys and just see what you think of our process and what we did." And I went through that with him. He goes, "That's perfect because we're waiting until the springtime." I said, "Well, why are you waiting until the springtime?" And he paused and he goes, "Well, I just thought that was what you were supposed to do." And I said, "Well, where are you from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm from Boston." And I said, "Yeah, that makes perfect sense in Boston."
Right.
But everybody's moving to San Diego all the time. People are moving here all the time. Yep. There's people that are snowbirds that are buying, properties to get out of Boston just to live here.
Right.
Those buyers keep showing up.
Right.
Like if you look at the numbers, do more houses sell in the summertime during the quote selling season? I'm doing air quotes right now to our listeners.
Yeah, Dan does the same thing. Don't worry.
Sure, because there's more houses that are put on the market because there's people that are sitting at their kitchen table right now having brunch saying, "Geez, honey, when should we put the house on the market? Let's put it on the market in March." Now, the question that I said to this person, the question that I say to anybody that says this is, what do you think would serve you better? Knowing that there's constantly buyers in San Diego. Josh will talk about the buyers in a second. Having your neighbor's house on the market when yours is on the market, or not having your neighbor's house on the market? Because I'm a big fan of supply and demand.
Right.
More properties sold, less properties available. Take your market share. Right? I love taking a market share.
Right.
You're going to learn all about this if you call and sign up for the seminar that we're all going to be at. Dan will go over all this more in depth. as well as I, and Todd, you'll jump in as well, and so will Josh. Again, that number is 800.
It's November 30th.
November
guys.
30th.
November 30th.
One day.
One day. Lunch and after work.
800-676-2420. 800-676-2420.
Let's talk about something else, though, Joe, besides the home selling seminars, which are coming up, which are super important, and we definitely want you to get your free tickets. Again, 800-676-2420, and tell them that Joe told you to get your free ticket now. But something that's super important is that I want to know about is that, the cycle of the marketplace, when we talk about, if it's a good time to put your house in the market or a bad time, when you talk about supply and demand. But, I mean, can people find out? Is there a website that people can kind of find out something from you guys on that? Like what's my house worth today? That's something that I think a lot of our listeners would love to have something free given to them. Can you give something free away today, Joe?
I can give something free away today. We just launched valuessandiego.com. Values, VAL. He asked, did I just spell that wrong? Values.
Josh, maybe you should spell it.
Valuesandsandiego.com.
Valuesandsandiego.com. Thank you, Josh. Go to this website, type in a little bit of brief information about your home, your address, your size, your square footage, whatever it's asking for, and up's going to pop a list of what some expected sales prices based on an algorithm that we run.
So is this like a CMA that you get from a normal broker, or is this something that the Daniel Beer Group has kind of come up with on their own?
It's a hybrid of a mix of your CMA as well as other values of properties that have sold or potentials that are statistically likely to come to market soon. So now, keep in mind, whether you go to our value site or your cousin sale tells you a value.
You can use that with any. You can use this again. The Daniel Beer Group, which I love about you guys, is that you're always about giving away information for free to people. Absolutely. It's not something that you're saying, "Hey, use me." Now, Dan will always tell you that one of the most important questions you should ask is how many houses have you sold when you're interviewing a real estate agent. I mean, Dan will pull up right for you how many houses him and Joe and Josh and Brian, I mean, his whole team has sold this year, which is unbelievable. The numbers are just unreal considering the amount of business, because the average realtor does 3 to 4 transactions a year. But Dan loves to give away stuff for free, and you guys are giving this away for free.
We're giving this away absolutely for free. Go ahead, log on. There's nothing that asks for a credit card or you don't have to sign anything. This is just something that we offer out to the public to get an idea of what their home is worth. Mm-hmm. And it's backed by factual data. Of
course, you want to earn their business if you can. You'd like to be in the mix. But
if we can earn their business, that's great as well. Now, there's one thing that I do know, and then I've got a question for Josh. But there's one other piece of free information that I want to give out to our listeners. I sit at a lot of kitchen tables, and I talk to a lot of families about the idea of moving and selling their house. For some families, it's the absolute right time. For some, it's going to take a little while. But they tell me that they want, they're meeting with other agents, which is great. Interview other agents. Right. But here's this free piece of information. Agents will say just about anything. If you really want to have a general idea of what an agent's doing, it's not as accurate the MLS, but you can do it at home. Type in whatever agent you met with and then Zillow. And up will pop their page on Zillow, which will have a rough track of how many homes they've sold. Plus or minus, anywhere between 2 and 10%.
But they could call your office at 800-67.
They could call us, and we'd be happy to give that as well.
800-676-2420, and anybody who answers the phone can say, Joe, Josh, Perry, Brian, we were told to call and find out, hey, does ABC Realtor, how much business did they do last year, and can I set an appointment with you to come to my house as well? I mean, you guys will bring your list too. I mean, right?
We'll bring our list right out. No.
Right.
So, I know that I would sell your house, but I don't try to shove anything down anybody's throat. What you have to do is best for you. I just know that what we do best is make our clients the most money they could possibly make.
So listen up, everybody. Listen to News Radio 600 Kogo with myself, Todd Piana from Home Street Bank. You can find me at Home Street Bank, homestreet.com/Todd. You can find me on Facebook, Todd and Taisha. You can find Joe at the Daniel Beer Group on Facebook. You can find him at San Diego Home Finder, Values in San Diego, all that kind of fun stuff. You can find Josh. You can also reach us with any questions, concerns, 800-676-2420, 800-676-2420. What we're super excited about is coming up after the break is we're going to have our boy Josh, who's one of the buyer specialists, one of the great buyer specialists for the Daniel Beer Group. We're going to talk about what's happening in the marketplace with buyers going into this crazy holiday season.
Spending season.
Spending season. So
Yes,
listen,
spending season.
we'll be right back after the break. Thank you so much. My goodness. Coming out of the next break, Mike's probably going to play some James Bond music. This is Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me practically everywhere. Google my name. You can call 800-676-2420. We have Joe McShane in the house, listing specialist of the Daniel Beer Group. You can reach him at 800-676-2420. And Josh Kemp in the house, buyer specialist for the Daniel Beer Group as well. 800-676-2420. You're listening to News Radio 600 Kogo, Real Estate Exposed. Normally we have Daniel Beer in the house, but he's off learning again. He's constantly learning. He's, like I always say, he's the Elon Musk of the real estate world. So I love it when he goes to these seminars and he learns new things and brings them back to us, and we get to talk about it on the air, as well as him and I get to talk about it off the air, which is super cool. But let's just jump right into a couple things. One thing I want to talk about is, let's talk about buyers, Josh. Let's talk about, like, when you are, right now you got a lot of buyers in escrow. I know that. Mm-hmm. Were they frightened because going into the holiday months?
Holiday months? No, there's a lot of myth around that, and I just want to break that myth. When you enter the holidays, people get scared. Like, sellers get scared during Halloween. Some people consider that a holiday,
right?
Which is absolutely ridiculous. And obviously Thanksgiving and Christmas, but this is a time when there's, like Joe said, the weather, and every day is a time to buy in San Diego. I have a handful of buyers just searching year in and year out for a home. So as a seller, it would be at a disadvantage to you if you did not put your market or keep your house on the market during these times.
So you guys do things a little differently at the Daniel Beer Group. We love to call Brian Danny, who's one of your buyer specialists as well, the one and done. I mean, we like to teach them about that. But I mean, you're similar to that, right? I mean, basically, if I'm a buyer and I want to buy a home, Josh, I mean, you basically, you meet with them, you do things a little differently over there, right? I mean,
very differently. We do things very differently. We pride ourselves on not being door openers. We want to sit you down and have a consultation with you and see what you're looking for, to narrow down your search, to save you a lot of time and get you in the place that you want to be. And I know we call ourselves buyer specialists and whatnot, but I like to look at myself as an influencer and a buyer consultant. And that's a big difference when you're working with other agents. And that's what makes the Daniel Beer Group different, and buyers agents like myself, Brian Danny, and Perry on our team, different from the crowd.
So what do you mean by influencer? Explain that to me.
What an influencer does is we're not selling the home. I think a lot of agents get this weird, twisted thing that we're going to go to the house and we're going to sell them the house. Well, what an influencer does is we influence you and find out what your needs are. And, we basically sell ourselves to you, and then selling the house just comes with it. That's the bonus.
I mean, it seems what you guys do is it's kind of like what we do in mortgage, right? Is we're more consultants. We're not just sort of
Exactly.
We don't sit back and, I mean, what Joe likes and what Dan likes and what you guys like about us is that we just don't give them here's our 30-year fix and this is all we have for you and this is the best thing we can do for you. It seems like what you guys do as specialists for your clients is that you sit them down and they tell you exactly what's on their checklist, and you don't sort of waste their time, right? And if it's not on the market, you guys will actually go out and try to find it for them.
Yes, definitely. And that is something that we do that other agents do not. And also, we know our clients' time is valuable. And that's why, the clients hire us to do all the dirty work, so they can do
the dirty work. The dirty work.
So they can go to their jobs, they can do, spend time with their family. And then that's why they hire us. And we're the best, to be frank. To find something for them.
Well, you guys are the best. You guys look out for your clients. You don't waste their clients' time. It's one of the cool things about working with the Daniel Beer Group is that you get specialists. You don't have one realtor who does multiple hats. You don't have you don't have Joe out there showing doing listings and buyers and everything, and opening doors and calling clients back and doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, you guys have sort of become specialized. I mean, it's kind of like what Dan says when you want to go in for a heart. If you need a heart surgeon to do a deal to get your to get your ticker worked on, you're not going to hire a chiropractor to do that, right? You're gonna hire a cardiologist.
100% right, Todd. You hit the nail right on the head on that. We focus on one thing. We're specialized in one thing, and that's what makes us so effective, and that's why we sell so many homes, compared to all the other teams out here in San Diego.
So what do we start calling you? If we call Brian Danny, we call him the one and done. We call Joe the executioner because he executes and gets everything done, and he gets highest price for your home. What would you like? What would you like your nickname to be, Josh?
My nickname, I would love to be Game Time, because whenever I step in the office and I sit right next to Joe, it's game time.
That's good.
It's
like
game
that.
time. Our foot's on the gas 100%. We're redlining every day. And so, yeah, it's game time, baby.
You are game time every day, because when I come into your office, and Dan loves to post statistics on the wall, and we see how many calls you make and how many appointments you get and all that kind of stuff. You are game time.
Yeah, I mean, our office is so competitive, and it's a friendly competitiveness. We all want each other to do well. And we have a big board, a leaderboard, and hey, Josh has this many deals, Brian has this many deals, Perry has this many deals. And that just creates such a intense and fun environment that the only people that benefit from that are clients.
100%.
So it's so awesome. The system is just intact, and it's awesome.
So if you want to get in touch with our man Game Time Josh, you can call 800-676-2420. 800-676-2420.
Yeah, guys, make sure to come to the home selling seminar. I mean, you guys will be flooded with great information. November 30th, 800-676-2420. I'll be there. Our whole team will be there. We'd love to shake your hand and just talk about things with you.
But if you're a buyer right now and you want a consultation, which is something that doesn't happen very often. Usually a friend of a friend tells you, this is the agent I use to buy my house, or you drive around a neighborhood and you think of the neighborhood agent, which Joe and I have dispelled, and Dan and I have dispelled the neighborhood agent myth multiple times, which we will also talk about at the home selling seminar. But if you want actually to sit down one-on-one with Josh and have him actually find you the home and actually win you the home, which, it's pretty funny right now. I've got a lot of cross quals going on with Joe, and I laugh about it because it's kind of like they have to cross qualify on the listing side. Josh, Dan and Joe make them cross qualify with Taisha and I.
Yep.
And it's really funny. I hear these people and they're almost crying when they're talking to me. Like, I want this place so bad. I'm thinking to myself now, again, Joe and Dan take the best offer and whoever the best person is when they sell their homes, because Brian has brought many offers to Joe and to Dan, and they haven't taken those offers. But, I almost, it's laughable that they should be actually working with you guys, because your success rate is so much higher than everybody else's, and it's just I'm kind of shocked by it.
Well, here's something for you, right? It's Football Sunday, right, Todd?
Yes.
Right. So I've got a buddy named Derek who I went to high school with. He was the starting JV quarterback. Didn't end up playing on the varsity team, but he was far and away the best JV quarterback I've ever seen. But he lives in Dallas now.
Right.
Right. I know him really well. He should start for your Cowboys, right?
No, absolutely not.
Well, why not? He was the neighborhood JV quarterback.
Well, that's where we found Dak. But.
You want so you'd rather have a professional throwing the ball for your football team?
Exactly.
Well, that's great. We'd rather have a professional selling your house too.
Exactly, which is what you guys do so well. I mean, again, so what's coming up? November 30th is our home selling seminars. We love the home selling seminars. We give away so much free information. We'll talk about those after the break. But you can reach myself. You can reach Joe. You can reach Josh. You can reach Perry. You can reach Brian. You can even reach Dan at 800-676-2420. 800-676-2420. Also, you can get your free marketing report at the valuesinsandiego.com, valuesinsandiego.com. Dan and his team are willing to give that away for free to you. You are listening to News Radio 600 Kogo, Real Estate Exposed with Todd Pianon and Dan Beer. Back after the break. This is my favorite right here. Little James Bond. Good morning, San Diego. It is Sunday morning. It's not Super Bowl Sunday, but it is football Sunday. We've got elections coming up around the corner. You're listening to News Radio 600 Kogo Real Estate Exposed with Todd Pianin and Dan Beer. And the reason why Mikey just played the James Bond music, because I've got our assassins in the house today. I've got Josh Kim, buyer specialist, Daniel Beer Group, and I got Joe McShane, listing specialist, Daniel Beer Group, and you got me, Todd Pianin, Home Street Bank. One of the top banks actually in the country right now. I don't know if you've been watching the stock market price on my bank right now, but it's actually doing really, really well. We've exceeded expectations, and we are killing it in the purchase market. But again, what I want to talk about today is because we are going to focus in. We've got something special coming up on November 30th for you. Let's talk about the home selling seminars. We're telling you first, you can get your tickets for free at 800-676-2420, 800-676-2420. But Joe, what are you and Dan going to talk about at the home selling seminars?
Oh, I mean, we're gonna cover everything from the before you come to the market, when you're on the market, and once you've closed, like the escrow process. But in a nutshell, what are we going to talk about? Winning with presentation. How you can present your home in a way that evokes an emotional response out of buyers, right? Emotional responses lead to much bigger checks than do analytical thoughts that buyers have when they walk in. We are going to talk about upgrades that you can do in your home that make the most sense, not ones that you lose money on.
Wait, so you're saying like I shouldn't redo my kitchen before I have you come to the house?
You shouldn't redo your kitchen until you come to the home selling seminar on November 30th, Todd.
Got it.
And we'll tell you all about that for free. We're also going to talk about, again, winning with presentation. What does your house look like when buyers are doing their first viewing? Hint, hint, the first viewing that's ever done on your home doesn't happen when they show up to your house. It happens when they're on their laptop watching Sunday football and they're figuring out, gee, honey, where should we go and move to? We're going to talk about something that you really like, Todd, something that we do a lot, cross-qualifying. Why is that important? Well, geez, I would think that you would want the offer that comes through to actually have a chance at closing, but call me crazy. What else are we going to talk about? We're just going to talk about virtual shelf space, right? What does that even mean? Homes are viewed first online, not when they come into your home. So how are you presenting yourself? How are you getting yourself in front of buyers' computers as they're clicking through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes on Zillow, Trulia, Redfin?
What Dan calls it, what virtual market position is that?
It's the virtual market position. Essentially, your house is the same as the toothpaste at CVS. Crest and Colgate sells better than Tom's, not because it's better toothpaste, but because it lands right at eye level.
Right.
Right? So you want your home at eye level. And then on top of that, Todd's going to give a full breakdown. Todd, what are you going to tell people at the seminar about the money market and the mortgage market?
We talk about the cycles. We talk about where interest rates are, where they've been, why it's a good time to buy, why it's a good time to sell, that kind of stuff. We talk about, the quality. Like Dan loves it when I say the vintage of buyers in the marketplace right now is at an all-time high. I mean, we've never seen such quality vintage in the 20 years I've been doing this. We've got such great high-quality buyers. We'll talk about changes that are happening in the marketplace. We'll talk about how much easier it is to get a loan. Dan and I talked about last week, if you were listening, we talked about a lot of the misconceptions that were going on about getting a loan and all that kind of fun stuff. So go back to iTunes, download our podcast from last week, and you can hear it. You can hear all those crazy misconceptions that people have out there. But one of the things, one of the big questions we get about this home selling seminar is, why do we do it? It's because it costs you nothing. And we actually feed you lunch if you come for lunch. Why do we do it, Joe?
We do it because it's just part of giving back and seeing people get the most out of their biggest piece of equity for the most part. Because part of our success has to do with, if you want to keep where you're at, you got to give a lot of it away.
Well, as Dan says, you also want to basically change the real estate, the way real estate is done here in San Diego, because too many people are trading in big assets that could cause financial havoc for somebody, and you guys want to give that information out, to change the way things are done, right?
Well, 100%. Because I will say this, and you'll learn more about it at the seminar, but the traditional process of real estate and to get your license takes very little effort And none of it really has to do with how to sell a home. It all has to do with how to not break certain laws.
There's a great slide. I mean, Dan loves to talk about the list and pray model, and he loves to talk about, when we watch those shows, $1 Million Listing and all that kind of stuff. We talk about, dollar per square foot and how you guys blow the doors off of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And at the most, like, what are you going to get when you come to the seminar? You're going to find out how you can sell your house for up to $60,000 more than the traditional process in 5 days. Todd, if I offered you a free ticket to that, what would you say to me?
I would say, I'm in.
Perfect.
800-676-2420. 800-676-2420. Get your free tickets to the home selling seminar. It's going to be off the hook. We've changed it up. We're going to make it a little more. So if you've been before, you want to get an update on the market, I say come. You need to call right now, 800-676-2420, and you need to make that happen. So, anything else you want to add, Josh, before we say goodbye and let everyone watch football on this fine Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, to all the buyers out there, I just want you, if you're really looking for a house, speak to a loan officer. And I know a great one by the name of Todd Pianin, and get in the right position to purchase something that you will live in for a long time that fits your lifestyle.
Can't say thank you, Josh, for that.
And I've got a special offer for any listener out there. If you call me today, right now the Vikings play the Lions. Everybody knows I'm a Viking fan.
Right.
I like the Chargers too. You tell me who wins the game and by what score. When it's time to sell your house, I will personally write a check for your staging. If you get the right score, you're going to want to call in. It's got to be the right score. You can't just say the Vikings are going to win. We know the Vikings are going to win. Give me the score. If you're spot on, your staging is on me.
Wow. 800-676-2420. Call that number right now, 800-676-2420, and ask for Joe and give him the score. It's been another great Sunday with you guys. Thank you so much, Josh and Joe, for coming out from the Daniel Beer Group. You can reach us again at 800-676-2420. You can get your free marketing report at valuesinsandiego.com. You can find Real Estate Exposed on Facebook. You can listen to us on iTunes. You can find me anywhere across the web. I'm Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, a member of the FDIC Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 304014. And get out and vote.
Get out and vote.